Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Zero Takedown Ghost. My name is GreasedScotsman, and we're about to get a playthrough underway that will focus entirely on stealth, and with the added focus of never, ever taking down a single enemy. I did a playthrough similar to this for Deus Ex Human Revolution, and I'm going to attempt to repeat it for Deus Ex Mankind Divided. So I've noticed a number of YouTube videos and Twitch streams boasting of ghost playthroughs, and I started watching some of them to see if this video series was going to even be necessary, and unfortunately it seems like the term ghost is being used to indicate merely that the player didn't raise any alarms. And I had to kind of hold back the facepalm when, for example, one video welcomed viewers to the video and invited them to get comfortable to watch this ghost playthrough of Deus Ex Mankind Divided. And I was like, okay, yeah, sounds good. And then in the very next sentence, the guy says, well, we'll have to take out a few guys to get the objectives done. Or something like that. I mean, I'm sitting thinking that's not a ghost playthrough at all. That's not even very stealthy. I looked through, that and a few other videos, and I saw that really, for key playthrough moments that actually has some challenge to them, those moments revealed the familiar reliance on things like the invisibility cloak, or the footstep silencer, and so on. And for those that have watched my original Zero Takedown Ghost playthrough, you'll know that my concept of ghosting a level is quite a bit different and has the following requirements. I need to pass through the level completely undetected. This is the first component of the ghost definition. I consider the invisibility augment a cheat, and will never use it. The same goes for the footsteps, the noise-canceling stuff. It's a cheat. I can't be any more plain than that. For flavor and challenge, I'm going to try to pick paths that not only allow me to pass undetected, but ones that also cause the least disturbance. So if I have the option of, say, punching through a wall or opening and closing a vent, I'll choose the vent. My goal is to make it through each level without leaving a trace of my passing, and that really is the crux of what I'm after. And for those that noticed, for example, in my Deus Ex Human Revolution playthrough, I did get lazy closing vents behind me and things like that. But I did, at the very least, perform the Zero Takedown portion and otherwise left things undisturbed. And I'm going to try to be extra vigilant this time around, and we'll see how that goes. Now, the Zero Takedown portion of the playthrough means that taking out a guard has to be avoided, period. Unless, of course, the game, as in Human Revolution, if there's some sort of situation that forces you into a confrontation, and there's no other alternative. I will favor holding to the Zero Takedown requirement, even if it means failing or passing up on a secondary objective, though I will also make every attempt to find a way to complete secondaries if they can be done without violating the rules that I've just outlined. And finally, I'm going to try to get as few augments and ability bonuses as possible. This is mostly as like a kind of a personal challenge to myself, because while I really enjoyed my Zero Takedown playthrough for Human Revolution, I had enough experience to deck myself out in really solid augments that kind of made it kind of a little too easy. So I'm going to see what happens. I might hit an impasse. I might reach a point where, I literally can't complete the Zero Takedown portion of it. But if that's the case, I'll just restore a save and figure it out from there. However, if I hit a roadblock where I have to choose between using an augment versus performing a takedown, I'm definitely going to opt for the augment, and I'm going to specifically opt for the augment or ability that causes the least disturbance. So, for example, jumping 10 feet in the air is far less noticeable than, say, punching through a wall. So hopefully that outlines kind of what Zero Takedown Ghost is going to be all about. Thank you for joining me on the journey, and strap in, because it's going to be a fun ride. So, one thing I will mention, Mankind Divided came out a little bit ago, and I'm just kind of getting underway with my playthrough. That has mostly to do with the fact that 5 years ago, when I did Human Revolution, I was not a dad, and that has changed. So my available playtime is, we'll just say limited, but hopefully that won't impact a decent release schedule for videos. So right at the start of the game, there's no reason to be stealthy. It's just a, let's teach you how to use your character, sprint, jumping, ducking, punching, so on and so forth. And as far as I can tell, there's no way to avoid the actions that you take. I don't think there are any alternate routes. You have to punch through this vent. Up ahead, you're going to have to punch through a wall, stuff like that. But once you get past that hole in the wall, things do start to open up. Now, with this concept of ghosting, you'll notice that I've replaced the box. Let's pretend an enemy were to walk by there, even though none do. But if they did, there would not be an obvious trace of my coming and going. Except for now, there's the tutorial forced me to punch a hole in the wall, and that's a bit suspect.
Fuck you.
I found the jumping to be very floaty. It's kind of weird. Now, I do feel like the hacking interface has become very consoleized, even more than Human Revolution. And I find it kind of hilarious that the timer and the, tutorial text is, like literally blocking the nodes that you need to interact with. That's kind of annoying, but also there's probably going to be a pretty big frame drop here. When I was playing, my frames would just go into the gutter until I came out of cover. I don't know why. I will say I really like the tutorial stuff. I feel like it's a very neat idea and does, I think, a solid job of letting people know, hey, these are your options when you're playing this game. And I really like the whole sandbox nature and them saying, hey, by the way, go experiment, because when you're done, we could just revert you right back to this position. I think that's a really cool thing, and I hope that other games and future Deus Ex games kind of continue that and maybe refine it a little bit, because it's a very, when I saw it, I was like, okay, well, I don't need this, but I like that it's there, and it seems to be a nice teaching tool. So, nice job. So with these guys, the biggest thing you need to watch out for, this is really your first encounter with any enemies, the NPC that's on the right, you need to wait for him to step away a couple of steps, because as you watch on the radar, as I drop, I will make noise, and if you drop right when they are together, or when he's in his stopped position, he will hear you. So you got to be careful there. Now, I actually could have gone a little bit sooner, and I almost got spotted there. The guy that was originally on my left almost turned and saw me. So don't hesitate like I did. You've got plenty of time to get across there, and no one turns back after they kind of initially start pathing away from their center meet point.
Solid copy.
Now, this is another thing I also liked. Throughout the course of this level, there seems to be one or two NPCs that kind of drive the action or drive the particular patrols of the guards. So, like, say for example, this guy, he starts off standing in a single position and then hops down, and he'll start a route. But I like that it's, he's not already in it. You kind of get to watch him unfold. And then the guy that's in the top left of my radar, he actually doesn't have like a repeating path. He's someone that's in a way kind of plowing the way for you. You'll have to pace yourself in order to stay behind him if you wanted to go that route, which, by the way, you can. But I decided to take the vent route. Although I discovered when I do this jump, you can just jump straight up there. And now I'm looking for a vent that doesn't exist. Whoops. So yeah, I didn't need to move that that block, but I didn't think it was worth restarting my playthrough. Coming through here, you can see on the radar, we got one more prompt for a tutorial, but you can see on the radar there's a guy moving just outside this vent. And I'm trying to see if I can get an actual visual on him from here, but you can't. But I'm going to drop in just next to him in a few seconds. And then we're going to follow in his wake.
Want me to grab you any spare parts?
No parts, but I take mine with cream and 2 sugars while you're asking.
So, I haven't really been using the cover system as much in this. I'm going to use it here just because I think it's more visually interesting than me being in first person.
All clear here. وفي حاجة؟ كنت السامع بس. فينك يا سيد؟ الوقت بيعدي بسرعة. Never have come here.
So this guy is going to do a little turn to the right. You got to wait for him. As soon as he turns away, you can follow him immediately. And just stay on his butt and go right past him.
Jensen, what's your 20?
Working my way through the penthouses.
Remember to keep an eye out.
So here you can avoid all the poison gas. There's a nice vent exit.
Roger that.
And here, this NPC is going to turn. He's the one you have to watch out for right there. And as soon as he turns away, that's your opportunity to hop up the ladder. And this level, I almost felt like there were too many vents. Because if you think about it right now, I've only been exposed for, I don't know, a maximum of, it's less than a minute. I mean, it's not very much. Now you notice I'm bypassing the vent to punch through because I want to go for an option that is something I can cover my tracks. So I've closed the vent. Now here they've both faced away, and if I was quick, I could have crossed this doorway. But I hesitated, partially because I'm listening to the dialogue. And so I thought, well, I'll wait, because I think I've got one more opportunity before this one guard will be looking straight out the door and make it very difficult to cross. So here's my chance. I beeline across, and now I'm waiting for the guard in the corner here. On the left, he will start a path, and the guard on the right, the lower right of this room, will basically post up and, as far as I can tell, not move again. So now I'm just waiting again for this pathing guard. He's going to turn to the right and start moving, and that's my opportunity to go in and get the secondary objective done. You can hop in, turn it off, hop out.
I've disabled the Jin's comms booster.
Absolutely nothing that they can, spot to detect you're coming and going, except for the fact that the jammer's offline.
Roger that. Moving on to primary target now.
Now, this patrolling NPC is going to look exactly out the door, right where I need to go, so I'm going to wait for him to turn around.
Yes, whatever.
And there we go. There's my opportunity. So here, all you have to do is you have to stay out of the line of sight. Basically, hug the right wall. Otherwise, the guy that is posted up in that last room will spot you on your way to the door. This guy doesn't really ever pose a threat. He doesn't really look around, but I love this, right? So here's another soldier that's going to basically drive the action. If you watch on your radar, I believe this is the NPC in the final room, which I think is just a cool little mechanic, and I hope they keep doing this throughout the game. Now notice I did use the cover system in order to quickly cross in front of the field of view of one of those guards that's just below me. Definitely dash across there because you have a very limited time where he might spot you.
Jensen, we're inside the atrium.
And here we are. This is that NPC's rolling through, and he's the last guard you have to worry about until we get to the cutscene.
This sandstorm's getting close. You get that comms booster disabled?
Affirmative. Booster's fried.
So maybe the Tin Man does have a heart after all. Way to look out for your team. McCready out.
So from what I can tell, it seems like as long as the vent is closed, a guard will never spot you. Although I do like the fact that, they'll kind of look up in that direction. They seem to have some, AI nodes that kind of direct them to glance in those directions. I think that's a nice touch. Notice that you do make a sound as you fall down there, so you need to be kind of careful. Make sure that you aren't about to get noticed. Make sure the guard is pathed away out of the audible range. And now you're just waiting for this guy to turn around and you're home free. You can head straight to the final door. Notice I'm not stopping to pick up any credit chits or anything like that. I am interested in, again, I'm going to try to do kind of like a minimal augmentation playthrough. I'm going to see what happens there. I might hit a point where I kind of screw myself, because my goal is to try to, with the zero takedown, I'm going to opt to use gadgetry if I need it in order to avoid a confrontation or a takedown.
Access granted.
This next scene presents kind of an issue, and if you focus on the secondary objective, I was trying to see, is there a way to
About fucking time. Enemy helo sighted.
protect the asset, the undercover asset, without being spotted? And, there's really no way to interact with the opposing forces in a ghost-type fashion. So really, speed is the way that you have to go. What I've also found is that trying to rush is far more damaging to you than just staying focused on being stealthy and avoiding being spotted. Because as soon as you're noticed in any sort of way, be it audio or, movement, then I've noticed the NPCs seem to kind of hone in on where you are, and you're pretty much done.
Targets in the AO. Remember, Sing's down there, so watch your fire.
You got balls, Sing? Executing a buy with a sandstorm.
It's also the case that they seem to get kind of blasted back and forth every now and then, so sometimes it's a little bit of RNG whether or not you're going to encounter an NPC backing into you and having that chance encounter. So it might be useful to play through a couple of times if you're getting stuck, but it seems like you're getting close to being able to complete this without getting spotted. Now, I felt like this was a little bit cliched about, hey, they're going to ramp up the action, but this was kind of cool. You just gotta... Yeah, it was the typical thing as a double cross and a secret double crosser that no one knows anything about. But a really cool way to kind of open up the action and put you in a very tense situation. So far, the pacing of these missions I've really enjoyed.
Negative. We're under heavy fire down here. We can't let that chopper take off, Jensen.
I got it.
Okay, so you need to be pretty quick here. You've got a couple of options. There's a second elevator shaft that you can just dive down and use your Icarus landing. But of course, we're going to be... It's not very stealthy. There's a really high chance of you being spotted, yada, yada, yada. So, I'll just come down the elevator. If you head to the far... You saw like some lasers there. Try to stay out of line of sight of those things. And at this point, you're really just hugging the left side of the map. You're going to move some crates. And once you get through, now here I'm popping the vision because I kept missing this this little alleyway here. And I would say at this point, if there is an enemy NPC that's kind of being knocked around towards you, this is kind of the RNG part where they either will or will not be there. It seems to be just chance, or whether or not you've been slightly noticed before. I'm popping on my vision again just so I can see. And I've reached the chopper, and I've popped the final objective. So there's my ghost bonus. And Sing survived. And I will say that it is just fantastic, the variety you have for playthroughs. I mean, there's so many different options I've played, trying out new things. But Zero Takedown Ghost is still my favorite, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. There wasn't a lot in terms of tutorials, timings and things like that. There were very few guards to interact with. There will be a lot more of that as the missions progress in difficulty, so stay tuned, and thank you for tuning in. Once again, you've been listening to GreasedScotsman, and you've been watching Zero Takedown Ghost. I'll see you next time.